A house with a hospital down the road, real schools, a grocery store, a working downtown, and the whole thing costs less than a new pickup truck. Not a down payment. The whole house. Most people hear that and assume they missed it, that Texas priced out a decade ago and nobody told them. This countdown says otherwise. The deal did not disappear. It moved west, past the interstates and the metro sprawl, out where the land flattens to the horizon, and a dollar still does what it used to do. One of these towns was literally built from scratch by a breakfast cereal magnate who then tried to dynamite rain out of the sky. And you can buy a house there today for under $100,000. Another one holds the hottest temperature ever officially recorded in the entire state of Texas, and people still wake up there every morning. And the Hilton Hotel Empire. Not a boutique motel, the whole global chain. Started on one dusty main drag in a town where typical homes now go for around $129,000. 12 towns. Real prices. Real reasons they are cheap. That is what this channel does. Not the brochure version, not the listing photo version, the actual version. Subscribe now if that is the trade you want to make. Let us count them down. Number 12, Childress. Picture this. You are on US 287, somewhere between Amarillo and Wichita Falls, flat country in every direction, sky taking up most of what you see, and the highway just keeps going. That is Childress. About 6,000 people sitting right at the crossroads of US 287 and US 83, at the edge where the Panhandle curls into the rolling plains. It opens this list because it is the least dramatic price on it. Typical homes run around $135,000. That still buys a whole house for roughly what a mid-trim truck sticker's at, which is the point. The town's institutional pillars are not subtle. A state prison unit in the memory of a World War II bombardier training airfield that operated here during the wartime era gave Childress the kind of anchoring that keeps a small town incorporated when the highway economy thins out. The airfield is gone. The prison is not. Neither is the crossroads. Here is what the price is actually saying. Childress's main economic asset is that people pass through it. It sits on the way to other places, and the market values that honestly, not harshly, but honestly. You drive a long stretch of open highway for anything beyond basics. A grocery run, a specialist, a decent sit-down meal that is not a chain off the exit. Those are trips, not errands. That is not a complaint about Childress. It is the geography speaking plainly. Translation, the town's location is its identity, and its identity is junction, not destination. There are worse things to be. The least dramatic number on this list, and it still buys a whole house in a real Texas town. That is where this countdown starts. Number 11, Seymour. Baylor County seat, southwest of Wichita Falls, about 2,500 people, typical home sitting around $133,000. On a map, it looks like any other quiet ranching and farming seat out on the rolling plains. Courthouse, grain elevator, water tower with the town name painted on it. Then you check the weather records. On August 12, 1936, a thermometer in Seymour hit 120 degrees Fahrenheit. That number has never been broken anywhere in Texas. Not in the desert near El Paso, not in the brutal stretch of the Trans-Pecos, not anywhere. Seymour holds the record, tied for the highest temperature ever officially recorded in the entire state, and it has held it for nearly 90 years. The record is not a selling point. It is the price tag explanation. Summers here are not just hot. They are historically, documentably brutal, the kind of heat that reshapes how a town organizes its days. Early mornings out, inside by midday, air conditioning that runs every hour of every month from late spring through early fall, and a utility bill that makes no apologies. The cheap houses are the market's honest answer to a climate and an economy that have been slowly emptying the young towards cities for decades. When a town's headliner fact is a weather record that sounds more like a warning than a feature, the price adjusts. That is not cynicism. That is Seymour being straight with you about what it is. The state record for heat does not sell itself as an attraction out here. It just explains the number on the listing. Number 10, Cisco. Eastland County, Interstate 20, about 50 miles east of Abilene, roughly 3,800 people, and typical homes near $129,000. Cisco is a town that punches far above its size in American history, and it cannot do a single thing with that fact economically, which is its whole story in one line. Start with the hotel empire. In 1919, a young man named Conrad Hilton came to Cisco with the intention of buying a bank. The bank deal fell through. He bought a small local hotel called the Mobley instead, learned the business on that floor, and from that one transaction on one dusty main street in Eastland County, the Hilton chain was born. The Mobley is still standing. The chain went everywhere else. 8 years after Hilton left, Cisco got its second piece of national notoriety. December 1927, the Santa Claus Bank robbery, in which a man who walked into the bank dressed as Santa Claus ended up dead in a shootout that became one of the most told crime stories in Texas history. 2 events, 1 town. A hotel empire and a notorious heist, both in under a decade. You live in a place where the history is genuinely outsized. The grand old downtown buildings from the oil money era are still standing, still carrying their original architecture, still giving the streetscape a weight that most towns 3 times its size cannot match. The gap between that history and the current economic reality is real, and it does not close. Cisco College and the Interstate keep the town breathing, but the oil money that built those buildings is long thinned, and there is no mechanism turning the Conrad Hilton story into rising home values. Conrad Hilton left. The Mobley is still there. So are the deals. Number 9, Borger. Hutchinson County, Panhandle, 50 miles northeast of Amarillo, roughly 12,000 people, typical homes around $114,000. Most Panhandle towns were built slow. Farming, then a road, then a courthouse. Borger was not. In 1926, an oil strike came in and the town exploded out of the ground in months, not years, drawing roughnecks, speculators, gamblers, and every variety of opportunist. A wide-open boomtown attracts with no law to speak of and money moving fast. It got bad enough that the Texas Rangers were deployed. Then martial law, that sequence. Boom, chaos, Rangers, martial law, became a landmark episode of Panhandle history, the kind of founding story that earns a chapter in the county history books, and a sideways mention whenever people talk about what oil does to a place before civilization catches up. What actually stabilized Borger was not a reform movement, it was refining. The Phillips 66 refinery and the Chevron Phillips Petrochemical complex that followed are what turned a boomtown into a functioning town with real blue-collar paychecks that do not disappear when a single well plays out. The plants are visible from the edge of town. On certain days and certain winds, the air carries their presence in ways that leave no ambiguity about what the local economy runs on. The paychecks are steady. The smell is honest. The whole local economy rides the up and down of oil and gas, and that is exactly why the houses stay cheap. When the commodity cycle turns, this town turns with it, and buyers know it. Borger was born wild and kept alive by petrochemicals. That smell in the air is the mortgage staying low. You have seen what a single plant closure does to an entire zip code. Coming up, a town where a breakfast cereal fortune built everything from the street grid to the houses, and you can still buy in for under $100,000. Number 8, Plainview, Hale County seat, Interstate 27, 45 miles north of Lubbock, close to 20,000 people, typical homes around $114,000. On the surface, Plainview looks more stable than most towns on this list. It is a genuine county seat. It has Wayland Baptist University running a steady rhythm of students and academic year activity, and the South Plains cotton economy gives it more institutional footing than a pure oil town. Then you look at what happened in early 2013. The Cargill beef packing plant closed. 2,000 jobs gone in a single stroke. Not 2,000 jobs spread across a metro where the loss diffuses into the broader economy. 2,000 jobs in a South Plains town of 20,000, where the plant was one of the largest single employers in the county, where those paychecks ran through every gas station and grocery aisle and mortgage payment in the surrounding area. It was one of the sharpest single employer economic blows a Texas town of that size absorbed this century, and the home values, already modest, never fully climbed back. Wayland Baptist gives the town a stabilizing rhythm, but a university and a beef packing plant are not interchangeable. The academic economy and the plant economy serve different people, different wage levels, different spending patterns, and a campus cannot fill the vacancy a 2,000 job closure leaves in a working class community. Picture this. You are a longtime Plainview resident, and the plant closes on a Tuesday. By the end of that week, you know at least a dozen families directly affected. By the end of that year, you can see it in the storefronts. The for sale signs went up in 2013. A lot of them have not fully come down since. Number 7, Pampa. Gray County, Panhandle, 55 miles northeast of Amarillo, about 16,000 people, typical homes near $109,000. Pampa runs on carbon black manufacturing and oilfield services, blue-collar, energy sector work, the kind of wages that rise and fall with the price of a barrel and make long-term planning feel like a guess. That is the economic reality. The historical reality is something else. In the 1930s, during the worst years of the Dust Bowl, a young man named Woody Guthrie was living in Pampa, working the drugstore, scraping through, forming his first band, starting to write. The songs he began writing in those flat, wind-scoured Panhandle years, about displacement, about poverty, about the dignity of people ground down by forces they did not choose, became the most enduring chronicle of Depression-era America in American music. Guthrie's Pampa years are not a footnote. They are the origin point of his entire voice as a songwriter. He left Pampa and carried those years with him into every song he ever wrote. The town stayed. The wind stayed. The oil economy stayed, with all its cycle dependency still intact. When energy sags, Pampa sags, and the home prices sag right along with it. The history is real, and it is documented, and it does not make the February utility bill any smaller. Woody Guthrie left Pampa and wrote songs about hard times. The hard times are still priced into every listing. Number 6, Sweetwater. Nolan County, Interstate 20, West Texas, about 10,500 people, typical homes around $107,000. Sweetwater has 2 claims on the national conversation, and they could not be more different from each other. The first, since 1958, every March, the town hosts the world's largest rattlesnake roundup, an event that draws tens of thousands of visitors and generates the kind of press that keeps Sweetwater on lists it would otherwise never appear on. The second, in this century, Sweetwater became one of the capitals of the Texas wind boom, ringed by some of the densest turbine fields in the entire state, the towers visible in every direction from town, spinning through seasons that would otherwise bring nothing but heat and dry air and the occasional rattlesnake. Would you call that a renaissance? The county collects real tax revenue from those turbines. The jobs they generate, though, are limited. Turbines are maintained by a small, specialized workforce, not employed by a large local one. So the economic lift to actual Sweetwater residents is indirect and uneven in ways that do not show up in the wind energy press releases. The climate is bone dry. The history of this part of West Texas is a history of booms that end, and Sweetwater has a century of practice at riding them up and watching them level off. The turbines spin. The prices stay flat. Sweetwater has seen booms before. Number 5, Post. Garza County, at the base of the Caprock Escarpment, about 40 miles southeast of Lubbock, roughly 5,000 people, typical homes running just under $100,000. The origin story here is genuinely singular, and it is worth taking a moment with it. In 1907, C2A. Post, the cereal and beverage magnate behind Postum and Post cereals, a man with a fortune large enough to build a town from nothing, purchased land here and did exactly that. He laid out the streets himself. He built the houses. He banned saloons. He designed the whole thing as a model community, a planned utopian settlement with an industrialist's logic imposed on a patch of South Plains scrub. That would be unusual enough. Then Post decided to solve the local drought. His method was to detonate dynamite along the Caprock Rim, rattling the atmosphere hard enough, he believed, to shake precipitation loose from the sky. He tried this repeatedly. It did not work. What Post left behind was a town that runs on his original street grid, carries his name on the water tower, and tells his story as its primary piece of civic identity. A serial fortune, a utopian blueprint, and a man who literally tried to blow water out of the sky. The lasting industry that fortune was supposed to generate never materialized. A century later, Post is small, remote, living on ranching and some oil in the story itself. The founder's vision outlasted the founder's investment, and the price reflects the gap between the two. C-A. W. Post blew up the caprock trying to make it rain. He could not make it grow. 4 towns left. And the next one we hit does not just have cheap houses. It has a ranch on its doorstep so large it takes in parts of 6 different counties and a price tag to match. Number 4, Vernon. Wilbarger County seat, US 287, about 50 miles west of Wichita Falls, around 10,000 people, typical homes under $100,000. Vernon is a proud old county seat with a genuine claim to American legend right on its doorstep. The WT, Wagoner Ranch, which for generations held the distinction of being the largest ranch under a single fence in the United States. More than 500,000 acres of cattle and oil sprawled across 6 counties, all of it accessible from Vernon's edge. That scale is real. The Wagoner name in ranching history is real. The ranch shaped this county's identity through generations of cattle drives, oil royalties, and the particular culture of a place where the land is the economy, and the economy is enormous. Here is the thing that does not follow from that scale. The ranch's size does not translate into Vernon's home prices in any direction that would show up on a Zillow search. The town sits on a truck-heavy highway corridor, and it has been slowly shrinking for decades. The same drift of young people toward larger cities that empties out county seats across rural Texas has been running here for years, thinning the downtown, thinning the tax base, leaving a town that has every structural reason for civic pride and fewer residents each census to carry it. The cheap houses are what a functioning county seat costs once growth reverses direction. 500,000 acres next door, and the town is still shrinking. That is not a failure of Vernon. That is the math of rural Texas, stated plainly. If you have made it this far and you are actually running numbers in your head, subscribe. These last 3 towns are where the math stops being comfortable and starts being serious. Number 3, Lamesa. Dawson County seat, out on the flat South Plains cotton country between Lubbock and Midland, about 9,000 people, typical homes around $88,000, a full brick house for less than a decent used truck. Lamesa likes to claim it invented the chicken fried steak, which is the kind of culinary origin story a small Texas town stakes out and holds on to, and the claim is as good as anyone else's. The economy is less colorful than the legend. 2 pillars hold this town up. Cotton agriculture, which runs on commodity prices that swing wide and offer no guarantees, and a state prison unit that is among the county's largest employers. Steady, recession-resistant, not going anywhere, and not the kind of anchor that competes for workers in ways that push up wages or housing demand. A prison and a cotton gin keep the lights on. They do not create the kind of wage pressure or population growth that bids up real estate. Lamesa sits fully exposed to the swings of farm and oil markets out on those flat South Plains, far enough from any metro that commuting to a bigger economy is not a realistic daily option, and close enough to the rhythm of agriculture that a bad crop year or a commodity downturn lands in town almost immediately. Picture this. You buy the house. $88,000. Brick, yard, the whole thing. Your 2 biggest employers in the county are a corrections facility and a cotton operation. Steady work. Unglamorous work. Recession-proof in ways that most industries are not. And the mortgage is the smallest line on your monthly budget. Chicken fried steak, cotton fields, and a state prison. That is the economy. That is why the price is right. Number 2, Monday. Knox County, rolling plains, barely 1,300 people, typical homes around $82,000. Monday is genuinely small. Not charming small, not quirky small. Functionally, logistically small in ways that have real daily weight. A few streets, a grain elevator, a main street built for a larger town than the one that remains. Deep agricultural country out on the Brazos-country flats, vegetables and cotton, the kind of landscape where the horizon goes on past what feels reasonable and the sky is most of what you see in any direction. The nearest full hospital is a real drive. The nearest full grocery store is a real drive. That is not an inconvenience in the way a longer commute is an inconvenience. It is a weekly calculation, a standing condition of the life. Every resident makes that calculation and makes it again, and the price of the house is the market's acknowledgement that not everyone will. 1,300 people, a grain elevator, the open plains in every direction. The isolation is not incidental to the $82,000 house. It is the reason for it. The math is simple. So is the trade-off. Number 1, brownfield. Terry County seat, South Plains, about 40 miles southwest of Lubbock, 9,000 people, typical homes around $82,000. The same price as Monday, but brownfield is a different situation entirely, and that difference is the whole point of this list. Brownfield has its own hospital. Brownfield Regional Medical Center is right there in town, not a drive away, not a 60-mile emergency situation, a functioning local hospital in a county seat that is actually working. Real schools, real jobs in agriculture and oil. A full-size county seat doing what county seats are supposed to do, holding the institutional weight of the county, providing the services, keeping the infrastructure running. And the whole house costs roughly what a loaded 3/4-ton pickup truck stickers at. That is the number this entire countdown was building toward. Here is the reframe. People spend years operating under the assumption that functional small-town Texas priced out, that the combination of a working hospital, decent schools, a grocery store within reason, and a house you could actually afford stopped existing at the same address sometime in the last 20 years. Brownfield says that assumption is wrong. The catch is the catch. It always is out here. Flat, remote South Plains, a long way from any metro, an economy tied to cotton and crude that does not generate the kind of demand pressure that drives prices up. That distance, that flatness, that commodity dependency. Those are the reasons the price is what it is. They are also not secrets. Brownfield wears them plainly. Not a ghost town, not a fixer-upper gamble. A hospital, a school, a grocery store, and a deed for $82,000. The Texas almost everyone assumed had priced out never actually disappeared. It just moved west, out past the cities, out where the land runs flat to the horizon and $100,000 still means something. From the Panhandle south to the South Plains, the Texas that stopped making the news never stopped existing. If you could buy a whole house for the price of a pickup truck, what would it take to make that trade? And what would make you walk away? Drop that in the comments. If $82,000 for a working county seat surprised you, wait until we run the same math on Texas towns where you can still find actual acreage, land, not just a lot, for under 6 figures. That one is coming.